Well, hello, my soul friends. It is Victoria with a get real with what is topic on my heart. And I feel nervous about sharing this because hopefully I'm going to share a little bit more vulnerably, even though I have fear that I may lose some viewers. As an ex people pleaser, I'm always afraid that I'm going to offend somebody. Not my intention. My intention is just to speak up for myself and for those out there who may be supported, inspired, and empowered by what I have to say. So, okay, thanks for being with me. I'm just going to jump right in. Come in and sit with me and take a moment to really connect with yourself and your truth. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being super high, 1 not so much, how hopeful are you feeling right now? And be real. Like, just take a moment to just be here with yourself, with your body, with your inner world. You know, part of the reason I stepped out of, um, well, I've had this back and forth relationship with social media for a while. I'm completely off Facebook, but I just felt like I didn't want to do any more videos. I wanted to pull out of Instagram. And quite honestly, because I had a very severe drop of hope, feeling very powerless. It's interesting because yesterday where I live, the power went out in our whole town. And as I was sitting in the dark, I was sitting with this question: where have I lost my power? Where do I feel powerless? And I invite you to that question too. Where have you felt powerless? Where have you lost your power? And then I connected it to hope. And I connected it to this realization that I've been bordering on a depression, a very low level of joy. And I am somebody that generates a lot of joy. And I am someone who cultivates a lot of hope. But I've been feeling very, very low. And I will say, this may be a little political. I'll give you a fair warning in advance if you're trying to stay away from all this conversation. I understand. But I just felt this need to be vulnerable about my own experience, how I'm feeling, in case it does register somewhere out there. And then, of course, I'm just sharing from my point of view, from my life experience, from my um, healing journey, from my perspective of being a soul guide on a spiritual journey unfolding for all of us, which is where I like to live. I like to live in those high grounds of, I call it the sacred view. But I just feel, because like me, like many of you, I am an empath. How many empaths do I have out there? And by the way, let me know where you're viewing from. If it's your first time viewing, any comments you have, and anything you relate to, just put it in there. You're unlimited here. Like if you feel like, yes, Victoria, I am an empath too, let me know. And I'm coming on here again because I have sort of begun to feel isolated or shutting down. And I often say depression is just suppression, suppressing your authentic voice, suppressing your soul desires, suppressing your truth. And if you don't use your voice, you don't have a choice. So my intention is just to open conversation with you, see where you're at, and hopefully meet you in a way that gives you a lifeline, gives you a raft to jump on with me during these transformational times. We are in very choppy waters, right? So yeah, it's been like I notice I want to step away more than ever, and I try to practice all my tools. I'm going to share some tools with all of you. What is helping me, and I want to hear from you. What helps you? How do you cultivate joy? I know that I try limiting my news time, and I try to jump in and do I try to do a wide scan of the news or the information. I go to all the different news sources, and then I sit with it and I feel it in my body, which I want to invite that perspective to you. We are too much in our heads about choices in our lives, and about the choices that are going to affect all of us in this presidential campaign. And I wonder how many of you, when you feel confused, just drop into your body and listen to your body. how does it feel? Do you feel tight and constricted when you think of voting for one person or the other? I'll talk more about that in just a moment. So, yeah, I have some hesitation about speaking up about this, but I just feel that's where I was starting to feel inauthentic. I'm pretending everything's okay when it isn't, because we're in transformational waters, right? Well, yes, chaos precedes change, and we are on the precipice. I believe, we are experiencing a lot of, the political division and confusion, and a lot of just uprising of anger and frustration. And that's, I believe, because yes, we are definitely in the times of transformation. From an astrological lens, we're right on time. Like this is a rebirthing time. This is an evolving time, evolving out of old structures, old ways, old patterns, to birth in something new that serves humanity, right? I'm not going to go into the astrology, but that does help me. That's where I can get to a higher reach and say, okay, trust the process unfolding. Even though we may feel like, I'm having this image of, have you ever been pulled under a wave in the ocean and you're just trying to surface, and you just have to surrender and let the ocean lift you back up when it's time. You just hold your breath and pray, right? Instead of fighting it. So, how do we not fight, and how do we surrender, and yet how do we engage and practice having agency in our lives? I think that when we have lack of hope, we feel hopeless, it's right there in the neighborhood of helpless. And so we have to find what we can do, what we need to do, and I'll get into that in a little bit as well. Did I welcome you to my channel? I don't know. Welcome to the Soul Nurture channel. Continually, as all of us, unfolding experience. Okay, so that saying, it is what it is. It's pretty popular. I mean, I like that saying, but I always feel like in some ways that's half the equation. It's like giving up. It is what it is. Oh well, what can I do? I mean, I know some people use it as acceptance. It is what it is. I'm going to accept it. But still, half the equation. Acceptance is a beautiful thing. Acceptance is essential for transformational journeys. And especially as we get older, I always say the older I get, the more I realize how important it is to practice acceptance. And when you get older, you get a daily opportunity to do that. And when you're living through transformational times, you have a daily opportunity to do that. I'm not saying throughout acceptance. Acceptance is powerful, half the equation. So I like to say it is what it is. Now, what can I do about what is? Especially if the what is bringing me down, is feeling like out of integrity with my soul and the vision I hold for the world. What can I do? What can I do about it? And this can take us out of feeling helpless to a possibility of I can do something, right? Like by just choosing to, contribute in small ways, whatever that looks like for you. As I was thinking about this, sitting in meditation with this feeling, what do I want to say and what wants to come? I think that we give up because we think whatever I do is not going to make a difference. Some people won't vote because they think it won't make a difference. So people hold back their agency, their power, their voice, their choice. But think of it this way. If we are able and we are willing to say, I do matter, my voice matters, my choice matters, and it's like throwing a stone into water. It creates a ripple. Okay, maybe that doesn't seem like much, but many ripples, building, create big waves of change, right? They turn into those big transformational waves that we can ride to new shores of possibilities. So I do hope you vote. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. I want your body to tell you, to listen in, to tune in. And I'm inviting you to sit with your choice more. Sit with your body. Look at different opinions. Turn off the news. I mean, and by the way, I'm going to say this about everything's under transformation. How we receive information is under transformation. And when there's transformation, it gets worse before it gets better. But you can't throw out facts or throw out the baby with the bathwater. That old saying, I don't know if I even like that saying, but kind of like that. You don't dismiss information because Some people have coined it as fake news, right? It is imperative that we find what is the truth that resonates with our souls, with our bodies, with the vision we hold for the world. Okay, so I wanted to read a little bit of a poem, and it's gonna feel a little dark because there is darkness before we bring our light. We transform and elevate to another higher way of being, where all of us are invited to shine our light, to be part of the conversation, to be part of um, the shifting to solution. And I think that's really been one of the hardest things for me, honestly, the division. And I have done my part to try to talk to people who have very different views than me, to no avail. And it's been heart wrenching for me. I have loved ones that are voting for someone that my body goes into complete fear over, from the facts. And also, as a woman, I mean, women, talk to me about this. Because I think, and I don't mean to create separation between men and women, but I think women's bodies that have kept us safe, you can feel in your body when someone, especially a man, is talking about your body. And we can tell when that voice, that those messages don't feel safe. Am I right? Like, I know we have this instinct. Like, say you're talking to somebody, you're walking down the street and someone's talking to you, immediately you can feel this person isn't safe. Don't you? Can't you? That's what I'm inviting you to. And I tried to explain this to a friend of mine, a male friend, and said, there's some things you can't speak to for women, because a woman knows, and her body knows what's safe and what isn't, right? So we're trusting women. Okay, so I acknowledge, I have felt very heartbroken from the division. Tried to do my part to say, let's talk, let's share. And I just think there's a lot of stubbornness on both sides. There really is. And I'm trying to look at that in myself, trying to get to that place of I don't have to like what somebody believes or the person they're voting for. I don't even have to like the candidate they're voting for. But I can still hold love, right? And I think that's the key. I think lack of hope is where we start to shut our hearts down too. We close our hearts. Our hearts need to be open so we can keep generating and adding to the atmosphere, to the unfolding story. And if we're holding back, we're shutting down, we're stopping flowing love and a vision of peace and healing. Then we become part of the problem, not part of the solution, right? Okay, so are you feeling disillusioned out there? What are you feeling? What are you noticing? So this is I'm not going to read the whole poem because it's quite long, but I encourage you to go read it. It's a poem by William E. Stafford. And I'm going to go down to that poem. One moment. Where is it? Okay. So yeah, it's kind of I'm going to read the first verse and then maybe the last two, because I think it really speaks to our times. If you don't know the kind of person I am, and I don't know the kind of person you are, a pattern that others made may prevail in the world. And following the wrong God home, we may miss our own star. Going here. And I'm just jumping down because it's long. And so I appeal to a voice, to something shadowy, a remote, important region, and all who talk. Though we could fool each other, we should consider, lest the parade of our mutual life get lost in the dark. This is the stanza. I was just going to read this part. For it is important that awake people be awake, or a breaking line may discourage them back to sleep. The signals we give, yes or no or maybe, should be clear. The darkness around us is deep. Okay, so not to take you into the darkness, just acknowledging it, right? We can't, if we avoid and resist and say, it's fine, it's going to be okay, everything's fine, and yet we're swallowed in the darkness of discord, that's not healing. First step in healing and transformation is to look at what is. It is what it is. Now, what can I do about it, right? That's what I think cultivating hope is. If we let our hope drain, we disempower ourselves, we lose agency. So we must cultivate hope. We must stay engaged, even though it's hard sometimes to look, right? And we can be swayed into ways that are not authentic to who we are and not part of the higher vision that we hold sacred for all people. So let me go back to my notes. Okay. I'm trying something new. I actually outlined notes and I usually just write a couple thoughts and then I try to find my way. I'm trying to be a little more organized. Okay. So, yes, for it is important that awake people be awake. The signals we give should be clear. The darkness around us is deep. So, this is why it's important to spark hope, to cultivate hope and awareness together with our bodies, with that higher vision. Um, so we don't end up losing our voice, losing our choice, losing ourselves, losing our possibilities. Don't give up. Find the surrender. Yes, I always say don't give up, never give up, but always surrender. But then find the thread that is yours to follow, to bring that ripple that becomes a wave, to bring your voice and your choice. But please do consider all people when you're voting. That's really, I mean, I don't know that I'm going to tell you who I'm voting for. I think you could probably guess. Um, I do think the person I'm choosing to vote for meets the criteria of what's happening transformationally. We need a different voice. We need a different all right, gender. We've had enough with the history, and I'm going to say it, the patriarchy. I think that where we're headed is the rising of the sacred feminine. And I know some of you will say, well, don't just vote for a woman just because she's a woman. I'm not just voting for a woman because she's a woman. I'm voting for her because so much of what she says resonates with me, and so much of what the other person says frightens me. Okay, I said it. I'm practicing speaking my truth. And again, I invite you to the conversation. I'm not meaning to offend you. I'm just speaking my voice, my choice. Okay. So what are some practical ways to cultivate hope? How do you cultivate hope? This is essential. I think it's like medicine for your soul every day, right? So even in the hard times, practicing gratitude. And when it's like, what can I be thankful for? This is where we give thanks in advance. Thank you, Creator. Thank you, God. Thank you, Lord. However you pray. Thank you for resolving all that concerns us in this world, in my life. Thank you, God, for helping us, leading us to peace. Thank you, universe, for cultivating the world inside of me that I want to live and contribute to the world that we are collectively sharing. Okay. So even small things every day, gratitude. Focus on the strengths. Focus on the strengths that you have to carry you through this time. When we feel hopeless, we must remember there have been other times, maybe not as intense as this time. Maybe it's not intense for you, but I know it is for a lot of people because I support a lot of people. And I know we're all in this together. We're having different experiences. But if you are feeling a lack of hope and disempowered, think of another time when you felt hopeless and you thought, I don't know how I'm going to get through this. And you did. And probably even stronger because you cultivated strengths you needed for where you were going. I feel like that's what we're doing collectively too. We're cultivating strengths. We're shedding, hopefully doing some shadow work. Like shadow work isn't like denying or pushing against, but embracing, accepting. Yeah, we have a dark shadow in this country. Many, many dark shadows, from racism to disempowering Indigenous people to, I mean, I could go on, but there's deep shadows that are coming up. We're seeing them. And I think that's where a lot of people are reacting to certain people, candidates. But embracing the shadow is, where is that in me and where can I transmute that into a helpful contribution? Okay. Pulling back our projections, doing our healing work, our shadow work, so we can see more clearly, not choosing out of fear, but choosing out of empowered faith and integrity. Okay. All right. I feel myself getting on a soapbox. I'm going to try to sit back down. Not because I'm limiting. I want to keep this contained to someplace we could all look together. Okay, self-care is essential. The more intensity in the world, the more self-care, the more soul care. And what is the difference? Self-care is taking care of our bodies, getting massages, going for walks, getting out in nature, drinking a lot of water, eating healthy foods, strengthening your body, strengthening your mind, doing affirmations, doing all the things. Soul care is finding time for reflection, for connection to your soul, for listening to your dreams, for visioning, right? For recognizing that you are a soul having a human experience, and it is in the human experience that fear captures us, constricts us, defeats us sometimes. And in our soul, we have expansive energy of love and possibilities, unlimited, eternal, right? Okay. Connecting with others, build a support network that lifts you up. Reach for support if you need it, like someone like me, or if you are really, I want to say this because I think I know I witness a lot of people who have had trauma are being re-traumatized, especially women, feeling limited in their choices going forward, who are champions for other women, and the way it's gone and the way it could go could threaten that freedom of choice for women, and so it could create some trauma responses. And so I encourage you to reach for support around trauma to somebody who is knows how to work with trauma and hold space for you for healing. Okay. All right. It's important to keep your life flowing too. So setting goals that are meaningful to you, that give you a sense of purpose, because when we feel hopeless, we are disconnected from purpose. So if you, whatever you see that's unfolding that you feel helpless about, say, what can I do that feels empowering, that feels like I'm contributing something? Okay. And I'll say this too, it's important. I think the place that I practice the most, that has been hard, and I will be honest with you. I have had some ugliness come out of me and some anger come out of me, and just like I hate. I hate that person. So I've had to do a lot of work with that. I can't say that I can get too loving. Well, yeah, I can. But working with what arises within you, don't pretend. I think I can't stand the pretending. Everything's fine. Everything's good. I said 5 affirmations this morning and it's okay. And I just trust God with everything. Remember, we're supposed to move our feet as we pray. I mean, yeah, God does the heavy lifting, but we got to be engaged, right? And just don't, I think too, like uh, keeping our heads in the sand and just waiting for the wave to pass. Um, I just hope you don't. I invite you to lift your head up and ask, what do I have to contribute with my voice and my vote? And or actions I can take. No matter what, you can choose to be kind. You can choose to. This is what I was going to say. If you see something in the world you don't like, how do you cultivate? First, embrace it in yourself. That's shadow work. Integrate it. See where it could benefit in a healthy way, and then what can you contribute back in that place? Okay. Meditate and be mindful. Being present is very key because I have to call myself back. For me, I think anxiety is where the past floods past the present to the future, and we're futurizing, we're catastrophizing. Oh my God, what could happen? And then we could really be disempowered and lose our hope, drained of hope. So being present and calling in calm, things that calm you, like a nice song or poems. And I have a few quotes, and I'm going to read some lyrics from a song that when I listen to it, it's like soul medicine. My whole body calms. I just feel so present. And being present is where we have the power to take action and choose something different, right? Okay, a few quotes. Let me know which one resonates with you. From Desmond Tutu. Hope is being able to see that there is light despite all darkness. And this one from Anne Lamott. Hope begins in the dark. If you just show up and try to do the right thing, the dawn will come. I love that one. And I think that's what I'm speaking to. Just show up. Do the thing that feels right for your soul as your contribution for all people. It just really, again, a little splash of astrology. We're going into Pluto in Aquarius for 20 years. The collective goal is to raise humanity, to embrace humanity, all of humanity, to stop name calling and shaming and bullying. That is all dark shadow material. Embracing, learning new ways to coexist, right? Okay. Let's see. So I think that's all I have for quotes. And then I want to talk about the song that gave me the idea for this video. And the name of the song is Tending the Spark by Heather Houston. And I was at a women's gathering and they were singing a few of her songs. Then one of my friends that brought me to the gathering shared her album, her CD on Spotify. I found her on Spotify, Heather Houston. And each song was melting my fear armor. I mean, I definitely felt like I was getting armored up, and I'm not an armored up person. I'm a big-hearted empath, and yet I was constricting and closing. So each song was just kind of inviting me back to myself, my soul. So I invite you to look into her on Spotify. But this song called Tending the Spark. And let's see, where is it? Oh, I got to read it to you. So let me go down here. I'm going to read, when I went to get the lyrics, Heather wrote this at the, how she came to this song. And I thought this was really, really, really helpful. Sorry. Give me a minute. Looking for it. Okay, here we go. So she says, a song for uncertain times. This one moved through me one evening at a campfire, tuning into the reality of climate change, feelings of vulnerability, uncertainty, grief, and a spark of hope were swirling through me all at once. I asked for a song to drop in, and this is what landed, a gift from beyond. Maybe you can invite a song in too, or write poetry. Poetry is so revealing. And then also stream of consciousness writing. How can I rekindle my hope? How can I spark hope? What is mine to offer? What is my truth? Things like that. So she continues, may we continue to care for each other as the world as we know it unravels. And may we continue to plant the seeds of intentional new beginnings that uplift the planet and humanity as a whole. I mean, I love that in itself, right? Now, here are the lyrics, and I'm probably going to cry. And I'm going to put a link to this song in the description box, as well as my website. If you want to book a session with me, I'd love to support you in your reclaiming and holding to your soul potential and your authentic self as the world unravels, or request a 20-minute free consultation. I'd love to meet with you. Okay, that's my contribution. Okay, so here are the lyrics. And she just keeps this on, in rounds or repeating just these words. And we will care for each other as the world around us unravels. And we will tend to the spark of hope that lives within our grieving hearts. And we are here now in this present moment, lifting our voices and hearts. And we are here now. We have come together. We are tending the spark of hope. Oh, may it grow. I mean, it's so beautiful, and my heart just opens. How about yours? How do those words land for you? So may we care for each other. May you care for yourself and those close to you. May we care for the world that we share. May we care for the future that our votes are supporting. It's not just for us, it's for all humanity, right? And may we continue to lift our voices in our hearts, and may we continue to tend the spark of hope. Okay, I think that's what I wanted to say. I wanted to share where I was with my own sitting with hope and sitting with lack of hope and trying to cultivate it and kind of navigating what is to find what can I offer in the what is. So tell me, maybe we can even take it away from politics and take it to your life. What's something in your life that is disempowering you? You're feeling hopeless, and you've said it is what it is. But now I want to invite you to, it is what it is. Now what can you do about it? And let me know what you're going to do. Take some bold action. We're still, working with that brilliant full moon we had in Aries. Put it in there, like, this is the action I can take. This is the ripple I want to create that will create a big wave of positive change, of healing change, of transformation. Make it a contribution from your heart and soul to the world. All right. Peace be with you. Let me know your thoughts. I hope this landed in a way that supported you, empowered you. But let me know your truth about what you experienced with what I had to say. I'm open to it all. That's where I have to live now. And truth telling and authenticity. How about you? All right. Take good care until I see you next time. All right. Until then, peace be with you.